Looking for a quick gift idea? Let's create a beautiful mug rug that's not only easy and quick, but it's also filled with inspiration. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where we've been transforming these fabric scraps into precious treasures. Today I'm excited to show you how to make the easiest scrap fabric mug rug, and you won't even have to bind it. There's no binding. This project is perfect for using up those fabric scraps while adding a very personal touch with a Bible verse or an inspirational quote, whatever you want to use. Whether you want to brighten your own coffee breaks or share love through a thoughtful gift, this mug rug is just what you need. Let's get started. Let's talk about the materials that you're going to need. You'll need some scrap fabric pieces, some Pellon interfacing, unless you want to put it directly onto your batting, and some batting, a backing fabric. It can be pretty, or I'm just using a plain muslin for this project, an iron, pinking shears or a rotary cutter with a pinking blade, and a Bible verse or inspirational quote printed on fabric. I do have a video on that, and I'll try to link that up in a card. I want to show you some of the Bible verses that I'm talking about, and we're going to add these to our mug rug. And these I did not rip along the sides to fray them. I used pinking shears. So I have a bunch here because I'm going to be making a bunch for gifts. I'm going to bring you down to the table so that you can see what I'm doing. The first thing we want to do is select our fabric. Take whatever fabric scraps you have and just pick them out. And we're going to just cut them any way you want. Let me show you what I did for this one. For this one, I took some strips and that's all I used for it. I'm cutting these to be 8 by 10. You'll want to make your Pellon interfacing 8 1/4 inches, the batting 8 1/4 inches, and the backing fabric 8 1/4 inches. So we want this to be super easy, but really cute, right? And then what I did is I just took a decorative stitch and stitched the pieces down. And then here is my quote. Faith can move mountains, Matthew 17:20. And here's what the back looks like. It's just quilted. Super simple. For this one, these fabric strips are woven together. How cool is that? And then I just took some different types of fabric. This is a strip, this is a little triangle I had. I was just pulling things out of the scrap basket. And this one says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And then again, just a decorative stitch around, whatever you want to use. But on the weaving, I just want to show you real quick how easy that really is. You're just going to take whatever strips you want, and we'll pretend that these are pretty even. They don't have to be. And we'll pretend that we've got, here I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went 6 across, but these are a little thicker. And what you would do, I had mine on my interfacing, and I just sewed the ones that are this way to the interfacing. And then the next step will be to lift this one and lift this one, and then you put this one in and lay it back down. You would come in with another strip. We lifted these two. Now we would just want to lift this one and place this one here and put that one down. And you'll just go all the way as wide as you need it. When you're done, you'll just take it to the sewing machine. If it's on the Pellon, that'll make it a lot easier because then you could just iron it down. And then I just took a zigzag stitch along the edges. And then you'll just sew a zigzag stitch all along these edges, and you'll sew it onto your batting, which is on the backing. So everything will be sewn down right away, and it will also be quilted. Very, very easy. I thought I would share that with you because it looked really nice on here. But let's get back to today's project. Here are the fabrics I chose. And we'll just move these off. I just have some strips. This is a 3-inch square. So what I did is I just took a 3-inch square to make the triangles. I cut those in half. Nothing real complicated. This is just a fabric that I pulled out of the scrap bin. It was already like that. And then 2 little triangles to fill in the corners. I cut my interfacing to 8 1/4 by 10 1/4 because we're going to trim it down when we're done. Here's the batting and then some muslin for the backing. And again, they're all trimmed to the same size. Then what we're going to do is arrange the fabrics the way that you want them. And I'm going to put it on my pressing mat right away. I think I'll use my larger pressing mat, and we'll move the cutting mat. And if you want, you could remove the batting and the backing and just work with your interfacing. And then you want to make sure that the glue is on the top and it's going to be the rough side. You can feel that it's rough. And then we're just going to take and place these on here. And hopefully I remember how I had them, but it doesn't really matter, I promise. And see, this is raw. And the reason these go so quickly is we're not going to do 1/4-inch seams or anything like that. We are simply going to take this to the sewing machine and sew that down. And then I think we'll put this right there. Let me get a line here. There we go. I do want to take it to the edge even though I'm going to be trimming it. We'll switch that. We'll put that one down here, I think. I have to remember how I had all these. There we go. This one went here. I believe this one was here. But honestly, everybody, it really doesn't matter. I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be. This one here, because you're going to make your own design. And I wanted to tell you, if you need some inspiration, I'll go to a library book sale and I pick up books like this. These are old, but they have blocks in them. See that? So you could actually design something like that for your mug rug because you're just cutting out the patterns. Here's Jacob's ladder, and it'll tell you exactly how to cut out the blocks. You can just draw them out on graph paper. But so many fun designs and a great way to get inspired. I really want to try this one, the card trick. So that might be one of my mug rugs. And you want these tight but not overlapping. But if it does overlap or if it's tight, it's perfectly fine. And I probably have this over too far. So if you want, you can go ahead and start laying out over here to see where you need to be with the fabrics that you chose. I just cut these out ahead of time because I thought it would be faster for you guys on the video. Yes, we need to move all of this over, and then this one will come in right here. Grab two little triangles for the corners, and I have it all put back together. Nothing fancy, right? But once you put it together and you trim it up, it becomes very beautiful and someone will really love it. So now, if I have everything the way I want it, I am going to iron it so I can take it to the sewing machine. And I just want to make sure that I don't have any interfacing showing. But if you do, even that will be okay because you're going to be using a decorative stitch or a zigzag stitch. And we're just going to come in here and press. Press all these pieces down. And it doesn't get much easier than that, right? You could lay out a bunch of these on a table, throw some scraps on. These go really fast. The next step is to layer the rug. And like I said, we have the backing, the batting, and we'll put this on top. I will be taking this to the sewing machine, and for today's video, I'm just going to do a zigzag, a wide, probably about a 4 on the width for the zigzag stitch. Do all these seams, and then I'll be right back. I'm back from the sewing machine, and as you can see, I just did a zigzag all around those edges. I haven't trimmed it up, so I'm going to trim it up now. I'm not ready to trim it to the 8 by 10 yet, so we'll go ahead and trim off the fabric scraps here. We're just matching it to the backing. And you know I can't cut straight because look what happened here. 2 different sizes. So it's perfectly okay because the person receiving the gift will never know what size it was supposed to be. So we don't need to worry about things like that. We'll square it up when we do the final trim. Look how pretty that is. There we go. And I just need to decide where I want this. And I think I make my squares for my quotes. The image is about 3 inches. And then this is about 3.5 inches. So I always try to make this side of my mug rug at least 4 inches, but you don't have to. So I think I will place that right there. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch this down. If you want, you can put a little bit of batting underneath this. And then I'm going to do a half an inch around the edge of the mug rug. I'm going to sew just a regular stitch, a half inch, because we're going to trim it a quarter of an inch. So I better move this a little more. There we go. I might put a little batting underneath that. And I'll just make sure that I sew that batting down. If you want, you can put a pin in this. Now I am ready to go to the sewing machine and stitch all the way around and stitch down my quote. I'll be right back. I am back from the sewing machine. I have our quote on, and yes, you can see the batting. If you want, you could trim that away with some snipping scissors. I kind of like the look of it, but I did leave a lot out. But I really just wanted it to have a little dimension to it, like a little pillow. Perhaps a pillow for your treat. Because if you have coffee, you have to have a donut or some kind of treat, right? Or maybe not. I am going to give this a good press before I trim it. And we are almost done. That is how quick. The most time consuming, I think, is when I was trying to put the blocks back together. But I know you will get these done super fast. Make sure you trim off all your threads. Let's give this a quick press. There's no binding, there's no turning inside out, right sides together, none of that. This is a quick and easy project, and I know whoever you gift it to, they will love it. Or if you make it for yourself, you'll smile each time you look at it, right? And like I said, we're just going to trim a 1/4 inch off of that seam that we sewed. It's kind of hard to see on here. All right, there is the sewing line. There we go. And I am using my rotary cutter that has the pinking blade in it. And look how pretty that edge is. And the same thing all the way around. And just like that, you have the cutest little mug rug. So fast and easy. If you're interested in how to print the Bible verses onto fabric to add that personal touch to your projects, you'll want to check out this video on how to print on fabric at home. I will link that in the description box below for you. And it's an easy way to do it just with your home printer and freezer paper. And just some final thoughts. As you create these mug rugs, just remember that just like these small pieces come together to make something beautiful, God is weaving the details of your life into His perfect plan. Even when things seem disconnected, His love holds everything together in place. Trust in His goodness, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. And the Bible verse for today, for just a little added encouragement. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Thanks for hanging out with me today and creating a little mug rug. I hope that you found that it was easy to make, and I hope that you'll make lots. And until the next video, God bless.